Yo, yo, up on the roof again. Love it up here. Um, yeah, I just want to talk to you guys today about something I've been thinking about. Um, kind of like one of the funniest, most naive things I hear people say just all over the internet is talking about how, like, anytime the government spends money, they're like, yeah, they're just going to tax the American people for that. And we're the ones that have to fit the bill. And it's like, no, actually, that's not really how it works. Seems people aren't understanding the game, the pimp game, the Ponzi scheme that's being played. Basically, the government's running up these huge debts, like $34 trillion, the national debt's up to. There's all these unfunded liabilities. Nobody knows where the money's going to come from to pay for Social Security and Medicare and all the different things that the government's on the hook for, all its promises. And there's no way, there's just no chance whatsoever that that's going to be paid. In fact, with interest rates now getting up higher and higher, with very little sign that that's going to turn around anytime soon. Of course, it could flip on a dime as soon as the stock market crashes, which it's on very unstable footing right now. As soon as that crashes, the interest rates could come tumbling back down to zero in a blink of an eye. So that's not completely impossible, but they just keep lingering on. Inflation's not going away, and interest rates stay elevated. And at these interest rates, the American taxpayers are barely covering the interest on the national debt. So we're not paying down this debt at all. We're getting really close to the point where we're not even able to keep up with the interest owed on the debt, much less pay off the debt. The whole game here, when we spend a bunch of money on, send a bunch of money to Ukraine, or come up with all kinds of stimulus packages and other kinds of things and run up these huge debts, that's all financed. That's all financed through selling government bonds to foreign creditor nations. So, if you think that we're going to basically just raise taxes to pay for that stuff on Americans, that's political suicide. That's never going to happen. The money's not even there, even if they try to do that. They could try, but there's all this excess money is just not really floating around. Certainly not in the middle class. So yeah, basically, it's going to end in one of two ways. Either they will default on the debt, and these countries that the United States owes these trillions and trillions of dollars to get screwed over, or will default with kind of a stealth default through inflation. So instead of not giving the creditors any money at all, we pay them back with money that's worth far less, and they get just a portion of the value that was lent to the United States, that allowed this huge debt to be incurred. So anyway, one way or another, the big creditor nations, Japan, China, and places like this, who have enabled the United States to run up these monster debts, they're the ones that are going to get screwed here. They're going to be paying for all these huge debts, not the American taxpayer. And I understand the sentiment of not wanting the taxpayers to be footing the bill for things. That's true. That would be bad. But even worse, we're screwing over other nations who worked really hard to to make a lot of money and not have a debt, have a surplus, the opposite of debt, and accumulate wealth. They've done everything right in terms of how to do that, but they made one fatal mistake, which is they accepted payment as IOUs from the United States. Not a good idea. And eventually something's going to break, and there's going to be either a stealth default through inflation and the decreasing value of the U.S. dollar, or we're just a straight up default. sorry, we can't pay, we're broke. You'll have nothing and like it. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely don't need to be on the internet whining about how the American taxpayer is going to have to pay for this and that. That's never going to happen. No way.